Sahara is a 1943 war film starring Humphrey Bogart. It's set during the retreat after El Alamein. 3 American soldiers, one of which is Bogart, are stranded in the desert in their tank. As they cross the desert, they encounter an assortment of survivors. They eventually make it to an abandoned desert fortress and set up camp there. However, they soon find that there's a large German detachment heading right for them. They realize they can't outrun them, so they decide to stay and fight. If the plot sounds familiar to you, it's because it's a loose remake of John Ford's The Lost Patrol. Ironically enough, there was another semi-remake of The Lost Patrol that very same year as Sahara, Bataan. I think both of these remakes are great, but I think Sahara is a little stronger. One thing the film does perfectly is developing its characters. There are a lot of characters in this film, and not only do they do a good job juggling all of them, but they do a great job making you care about them. There isn't a single character from the Allied side that is a throwaway red shirt. When these guys die, you feel terrible. The film devotes a lot of time to developing their connections with each other, so you empathize with the character's heartbreak when you see their friends perish from enemy fire. My favorite character is Frenchie, played by Louis Mercier. He has a little part where he talks about his love for cheese and wine, and it's actually one of the most memorable parts in the film. When I think of great character development, I think of his little speech from this film. Do I even have to say that Bogart is good? You already know he is. J. Carrol Naish is also great as the Italian war prisoner. They give some depth to his character. He's not just an evil enemy. You feel bad for him because all he was doing was what his country forced him to do. Nash's performance was so well received back then that he received an Oscar nomination. The action scenes for the time are pretty well done. Whereas the action scenes aren't as good as some of the higher budgeted films at the time, they still work, and that's really all that matters. Like most films at the time, there's a moment where they address how evil the Nazis are and how important it is to fight them back. Yeah, buy your war bonds, we get it. This was common in films back then because they were trying to boost morale back home and show that it was an important war to fight. Of those films at the time, this is one of the best, and I highly recommend it.